The massive starship Galactic Harmony drifted silently through the inky blackness of space, its sleek silver hull reflecting pinpricks of distant starlight. Inside the ship's command center, Captain J.W. Park stood perfectly still, his hands clasped behind his back. His dark eyes were fixed on the holographic display that showed the blue-green planet growing larger with each passing moment. Earth. Humanity's homeworld looked both familiar and alien to the Galactic Confederation's most experienced diplomatic team. They had encountered thousands of civilizations across hundreds of star systems, but something about this planet felt different. The preliminary scans were unusual. Atmospheric composition confirmed, announced Senior Navigator Yun Li from her station. Her fingers danced across the holographic controls, pulling up layer after layer of planetary data. Oxygen levels are higher than our standard tolerance. Gravity is within acceptable parameters. But the electromagnetic readings are chaotic. Captain Park raised an eyebrow. Chaotic was not a word typically used in official scientific reports. Define chaotic, Navigator Lee. Yun hesitated, a rare moment of uncertainty crossing her typically composed features. It's like the entire planet is vibrating with energy. Random signal patterns. Technological noise that doesn't follow any predictable communication protocol. The ship's communication specialist, Sung-Min Choi, leaned forward. His translation devices were already working overtime, trying to make sense of the thousands of communication signals bouncing around the planet. Radio waves, digital transmissions, satellite communications, all jumbled together in a mad symphony of noise. Their communication technologies are primitive, but intense, Sung-Min reported. Multiple languages, hundreds of communication channels. No unified planetary communication system like we've seen in other developing civilizations. Captain Park knew this was their first official contact mission with humanity. The Galactic Confederation had been watching Earth for decades, carefully monitoring their technological development. Humans had just begun exploring their own solar system, creating rudimentary space stations, and sending robotic probes to neighboring planets. They were on the cusp of something, a technological adolescence that could go either brilliantly right or catastrophically wrong. The standard first contact protocol was simple: approach carefully, establish peaceful communication, assess technological and cultural readiness for galactic interaction. But nothing about Earth seemed standard. Prepare the initial communication sequence, Park commanded. Standard peaceful greeting. Multiple language translations. As the communication team prepared their message, no one noticed the small blinking light on a secondary monitor. A transmission was coming through, not from their sophisticated communication arrays, but from something much more primitive. A YouTube-lit stream. The stream showed a group of young humans in a brightly lit room. They were attempting to create the world's largest energy drink cocktail by mixing multiple brands of caffeinated beverages. Loud music played in the background. One human, wearing a ridiculous hat with flashing LED lights, was explaining the scientific process of their drink, mixing with extreme enthusiasm. If the Galactic Confederation's diplomats could see this transmission, they might have reconsidered the entire first contact mission. But they couldn't see it. Not yet. Captain J.W. Park pressed the communication button, his voice calm and measured. Preparing initial contact sequence. May the stars guide our conversation. Little did he know, the stars had a sense of humor, and humanity was about to prove just how unpredictable first contact could be. The Galactic Harmony began its descent towards Earth, completely unaware of the caffeinated chaos that awaited them. The landing site was nothing like the carefully prepared diplomatic zones of other worlds. Instead of a clean, sterile environment, the alien ship touched down in a bustling military base located in the middle of the Nevada desert. Heat waves danced above the concrete, and the air buzzed with a strange mixture of tension and excitement. Major Hyun Kim stood at the front of the welcoming party. He was not your typical diplomat. His uniform was crisp, but his eyes sparkled with an energy that seemed to pulse just beneath his skin. Around him, military personnel shifted nervously, their hands close to, but not touching, their weapons. The Galactic Harmony looked like a giant silver teardrop against the dusty brown landscape. Its hull was smooth and perfect, a stark contrast to the rough, patchy ground. When the ship's main entrance began to open, everyone held their breath. Captain J.U. Park was the first to emerge. He expected a quiet, formal greeting. What he got was something entirely different. "Welcome to Earth," Major Kim shouted, his voice booming across the landing area. In his right hand, he held a bright blue can. In his left, he clutched a yellow can. Both were energy drinks. The alien delegation blinked. Collectively, Sung Min Choi, the communications specialist, leaned toward Captain Park and whispered, "Our translation protocols did not prepare us for this level of volume." Major Kim stepped forward, and the aliens noticed something strange. With each step, he seemed to vibrate with an internal energy that had nothing to do with the landing or the diplomatic meeting. It was like he was powered by something more than just human biology. "We brought refreshments," Kim announced, holding up the energy drink cans. "These are traditional Earth welcome drinks." Captain Park cleared his throat. In thousands of diplomatic missions across hundreds of star systems, he had never been offered a beverage quite like these. The cans were bright, almost aggressive in their color scheme. One was electric blue. The other was radioactive yellow. "We have a custom," Major Kim continued, "of sharing drinks during important meetings. These are called energy drinks." Ian Jiley, the navigator, ran a quick scanner over the cans. Her eyes widened. The chemical composition was unusual. Caffeine levels that would kill most known species, sugar content that defied medical understanding, artificial colors that seemed to exist outside the normal spectrum of light. "Would you like to try?" Kim asked, his smile wide and energetic. The alien delegation looked at each other. Communication happened in that single glance, a conversation that went something like, "Should we? Probably not. But diplomatic protocol. These humans are different." Captain Park stepped forward. Diplomatic protocol demanded acceptance of a welcome gift. "We would be honored," he said, his voice calm and measured. Major Kim grinned and handed each alien diplomat a can. The pull tab made a sharp, almost violent sound as it opened. The first sip would change galactic history forever. Nobody knew it yet, but this moment, right here, in the middle of a Nevada desert, was the beginning of something big. Something that would make the Galactic Confederation question everything they knew about first contact, diplomacy, and the very nature of intelligent life. And it all started with an energy drink. The conference room was supposed to be a place of calm diplomacy. It was supposed to be quiet, controlled, and carefully managed. Nobody told the humans this. Major Hyun-Ki Kim slammed another energy drink onto the table. The metal surface vibrated. The alien diplomats flinched. "So," Kim said, his words coming out faster than any translator could comfortably process, "let's talk about galactic trade." Captain J.W. Park watched in growing concern as his fellow alien diplomats took small, careful sips of their energy drinks. Something was happening to them. Something unexpected. Ian Jidley, normally the most composed navigator in the Galactic Confederation, was now tapping her fingers so quickly they blurred. Her eyes darted around the room, taking in every single detail with a speed that seemed physically impossible moments ago. Sung Min Choi, the communication specialist, had already pulled out 3 digital pads and was typing what seemed like entire books in the span of seconds. His fingers moved like lightning, creating documents, cross-referencing information, and generating complex translations faster than any computer the aliens had ever seen. "Okay," Major Kim continued, "here's the deal. We want to talk about technology exchange, interstellar cooperation, and..." He paused to take another massive gulp of his energy drink. "Potential military alliances." The aliens blinked again. Captain Park noticed something strange. The humans in the room weren't just drinking energy drinks. They were consuming them like they were oxygen. Every time an alien diplomat looked away, another kin would appear. It was like magic, or madness. "We have some ideas," Kim said, and then proceeded to outline a series of technological innovations that should have taken decades to develop. But he wasn't just talking. He was drawing diagrams, solving complex mathematical equations, suggesting improvements to faster-than-light travel technology that made the alien scientists' heads spin. And he was doing all of this while drinking something called Mega Ultra Blast Energy Surge from a can that seemed to glow with an unnatural light. Some Min Choi leaned over to Captain Park and whispered, "Sir, their caffeine intake is beyond anything in our medical records. This should be killing them." But the humans weren't dying. They were thriving. Major Kim started explaining a new propulsion system. His hands moved so fast, they created small wind currents in the room. The alien diplomats watched, mouths slightly open, as complex 3D holographic models appeared and disappeared, showing technologies that seemed to break every known law of physics. "We call this the rocket fuel protocol," Kim said, and took another drink from his energy can. The can was still full of liquid. Somehow, Captain Park realized something terrifying. These humans weren't just presenting diplomatic proposals. They were reshaping the entire concept of technological development with every word, every gesture, every single sip of their mysterious energy drinks. And they were just getting started. Outside the conference room, more energy drink cans were being prepared. The humans were warming up. The Galactic Confederation had no idea what was about to hit them. The research lab was supposed to be a calm place of scientific discovery. Nobody told the humans this. Ji-Soo Park and Min-Ji Choi stood in the middle of the room, surrounded by holographic displays, half-empty energy drink cans, and what could only be described as organized chaos. The alien scientists watched in pure disbelief. "We've got an idea," Ji-Soo announced, her words tumbling out faster than sound should travel. She had been drinking something called Rocket Fuel Ultra Extreme for the past 3 hours. Her eyes were wide. Her hands were a blur of motion. Min-Ji nodded, equally wired. 3 spacecraft designs, 1 quantum computing problem, and a new energy solution. Before lunch, the alien research team exchanged worried glances. Dr. Sang-Ho Lee from the Galactic Technology Review Board tried to interrupt. "But that's impossible. These are complex systems that would typically take." "Done," Ji-Soo interrupted, throwing 3 holographic designs onto the main screen. The first design was a spacecraft that looked like it had been drawn by someone who had simultaneously solved a Rubik's Cube, composed a symphony, and run a marathon. It defied every known principle of aerospace engineering. Its lines were impossible. Its potential was ridiculous. Min-Ji was already working on the quantum computing problem. Her fingers flew across multiple holographic keyboards. Lines of code appeared and disappeared so quickly that the alien monitoring systems couldn't keep up. "The key," she muttered, taking another massive gulp of her neon green energy drink, "is to think differently." Dr. Sang-Ho watched in horror as complex mathematical equations solved themselves. Quantum entanglement problems that had stumped galactic scientists for decades were being unraveled like a simple knitting pattern. Ji-Soo had moved on to the energy solution. She was drawing diagrams, writing code, and drinking her energy drink, all at the same time. Her movements were so fast, they created small wind currents in the laboratory. "We'll solve global energy issues," she announced, "and probably create a new form of sustainable power that doesn't require fossil fuels, nuclear reactions, or complicated quantum manipulation." The alien scientists blinked again. Min-Ji finished her energy drink and crushed the can. It made a sound like a small explosion. "Lunchtime?" she asked Ji-Soo. Ji-Soo looked at her watch. It was 6:30 in the morning. "Sure," she said. "I'm just getting started." Dr. Sangho tried to speak. No words came out. The energy drink on the table seemed to pulse with an evil, knowing light. It was almost laughing. Outside the laboratory, more energy drinks were being prepared. The humans were just warming up. The Galactic Confederation's entire understanding of scientific progress was about to be rewritten, and they had no idea what was coming. The negotiation room looked like a battlefield, but not a typical battlefield. This was a war of words, ideas, and energy drinks. 72 hours had passed. No one had slept. No one had stopped talking. The alien diplomats stared in pure shock at the humans, who seemed to be powered by something beyond human understanding. Major Hyun-Ki Kim stood at the center of the room. His fifth energy drink of the hour sat half empty next to a stack of completed trade agreements, technological proposals, and what appeared to be 3 different peace treaties for star systems the humans had never even visited. "So," Kim said, his words racing faster than light, "about interstellar trade routes." Captain Jae-woo Park rubbed his temples. The humans had not stopped. They had not even slowed down. Each time the alien delegation thought they had reached a stopping point, the humans would pull out another energy drink and restart the conversation with even more intensity. Sung-Min Choi, the communication specialist, had long since given up on traditional translation methods. He was now using a combination of holographic displays, rapid-fire typing, and what could only be described as mind-reading to keep up with the humans' communication speed. "We propose," Kim continued, pulling out a diagram that looked like it had been designed by a hyperactive mathematician on his 5th espresso, a completely new system of galactic communication and trade. The diagram made no sense, and yet it made perfect sense. It showed trade routes that curved in impossible ways, communication networks that seemed to break the basic rules of physics, economic models that looked like they had been created by someone who had simultaneously solved a Rubik's Cube, composed a symphony, and run a marathon. "We'll need more energy drinks," Kim mumbled, reaching for another can. The alien diplomats watched in horror as he opened the drink. The can seemed to glow with an unnatural light. Steam, or was it pure energy, rose from its opening. Ian Judley, the navigator, leaned over to Captain Park and whispered, "Sir, they're not human. They can't be human." But they were human. Very, very human. The negotiations continued. Topics jumped from quantum computing to interstellar cuisine, from diplomatic protocols to a new method of faster-than-light travel that seemed to involve something called caffeine acceleration. "And here's our proposal for galactic peace," Kim said, throwing another document onto the table. It landed perfectly, creating a small wind current that made the alien diplomat's hair move. No one knew how long they had been talking. Time had become a suggestion. Reality was something that happened to other species. Outside the negotiation room, more energy drinks were being prepared. The humans were just getting started. The Galactic Confederation had no idea what was about to hit them. The High Council of the Galactic Confederation looked like they had seen a ghost. But this was worse than a ghost. This was something completely unexpected. Holographic screens filled the circular room. Each screen showed a different piece of evidence about humans and their mysterious energy drinks. The information was terrifying. "They're doing what?" asked Elder Junho Kim, the oldest and most respected member of the council. The research report played again. A human had solved a complex mathematical problem while skateboarding. Another had designed a new spacecraft engine while waiting in line for coffee. A third had negotiated a peace treaty between 2 warring star systems during a morning workout. And they all had one thing in common: energy drinks. The evidence was clear. These weren't just beverages. They were liquid potential, bottled chaos, a weapon more dangerous than any plasma cannon or quantum disruptor. "Analysis shows," reported senior researcher Min Seo Park, "that these energy drinks contain a combination of chemicals that should be fatal to most known species. Caffeine levels that would kill a small planet. sugar content that defies medical understanding. Another council member, Elder Jai-Yun Lee, leaned forward. How are they not dead? The answer was simple. They were human. More screens showed more impossible achievements. A group of humans had redesigned an entire communication network while waiting for a pizza delivery. Another team had solved a centuries-old engineering problem during a lunch break. We've intercepted their internal communications, Min Seo continued. She pressed a button, and a new screen showed a casual conversation between two humans. Human 1. Grab me an energy drink. Human 2. Which one? Human 1. Doesn't matter. I need to solve a quantum physics problem before my next meeting. The council members looked at each other. This was not normal. This was not safe. They treat these drinks like water, Elder Junho said. But they're more like performance-enhancing substances. No, more than that. They're like portable miracles. The research showed more impossible things. Humans could work for days without sleep. They could switch between complex tasks faster than most computers. They could learn new skills in hours that would take other species years. And it all came back to the energy drinks. We have a serious problem, Min Seo concluded. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed real fear. These humans are not just a new species. They're a potential galactic threat. The council was silent. Outside the council chamber, more energy drinks were being prepared somewhere on Earth. The humans were just getting started. The Galactic Confederation had a choice to make, and none of the options looked good. Somewhere, a human was probably solving another impossible problem. With an energy drink in hand, the emergency meeting of the Galactic Confederation looked like a funeral. But funerals are usually quieter. We must stop them, declared Elder Junho Kim, slamming his hand on the council table. The holographic displays flickered from the impact. The proposal was simple and completely impossible. Ban energy drinks from all galactic trade and interaction. Senior researcher Min Seo Park presented the evidence. Screen after screen showed humans doing impossible things, solving complex problems, creating revolutionary technologies, negotiating peace treaties, all while consuming brightly colored liquids that seemed to defy the laws of biology. These are not just drinks, Min Seo explained. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed real worry. These are portable miracles. Liquid potential, a weapon more dangerous than any plasma cannon. The council members looked at each other. They all knew what she meant. One energy drink could turn an average human into a super-powered problem solver. A pack of energy drinks could reshape entire star systems. A warehouse full of energy drinks could potentially rewrite the laws of physics. The evidence was overwhelming. Humans had designed 3 new spacecraft engines before lunch. They had solved quantum computing problems while waiting in line for coffee. They had negotiated peace between warring alien civilizations during a morning workout. And they did it all with energy drinks. We have proof, Min Seo continued, that these drinks are more than beverages. They are technological performance enhancers, biological miracles. She pressed a button. A new screen showed a human laboratory. Scientists were working on multiple impossible projects. Each had an energy drink nearby. Some had 2 or 3. The caffeine content alone should have killed them 10 times over. But they were not just alive. They were thriving. Our medical scans show, Min Seo said, that these drinks contain chemical combinations that should be fatal to most known species. Caffeine levels that would destroy a small planet. Sugar content that breaks every known medical understanding. Elder Jai-Yun Lee leaned forward. How are they not dead? The answer was simple. They were human. The containment proposal was clear. No energy drinks would be allowed in galactic trade. No energy drinks would be permitted during diplomatic meetings. No energy drinks would cross any interstellar border. It was their only protection. We must protect ourselves, Elder Junho said. His voice was final. These humans and their energy drinks are a threat to everything we know. Outside the council chamber, somewhere on Earth, a human was probably solving another impossible problem. With an energy drink in hand, the galaxy held its breath. Major Hyun-ki Kim walked into the galactic conference room like he owned the place. In his hand, he carried not one, but 3 energy drinks. "So," he said, his words racing faster than light, "about this ban." The alien diplomats shifted uncomfortably. They had expected a quiet surrender. What they got was pure human confidence. "Let me explain something," Kim continued, cracking open the first energy drink. The can made a sound like a challenge. "These aren't just drinks. They're a symbol." Captain Jae-woo Park watched in growing concern. The humans were not backing down. They were fighting back with words, energy, and caffeine. Kim started drawing diagrams. They appeared faster than the alien translation systems could process. One moment the wall was empty. The next, it was covered in complex technological proposals, mathematical equations, and what looked like 3 different plans for interstellar peace. "We didn't create energy drinks to be a weapon," Kim explained. "We created them because humans like to push boundaries. We like to do more, be more." The alien diplomats blinked. Collectively, he opened the second energy drink. Steam, or was it pure potential, rose from the can. "Our ability to innovate," Kim said, "doesn't come from a can. The can just helps us get there faster." To demonstrate, he solved a complex quantum computing problem while explaining galactic trade routes. His hand moved so fast it created small wind currents in the room. Senior researcher Min Seo Park, who had previously presented the threat assessment, found herself taking notes. The human was making sense. Worse, he was making too much sense. "Look," Kim said, opening the third energy drink, "we're not trying to take over the galaxy. We're just trying to improve it." He showed them innovations, spacecraft designs that broke every known physics rule, communication networks that could connect entire star systems, peace treaty frameworks that made centuries of diplomatic failure look like child's play. And he did it all while drinking an energy drink that glowed with an unnatural light. The alien diplomats exchanged worried glances. This was not going according to their plan. "Our potential," Kim continued, "comes from here." He tapped his head, then his heart. "The energy drink is just a tool, like any other tool." Captain Park realized something terrifying. The humans weren't just defending their right to drink energy drinks. They were redefining the entire concept of potential, innovation, and progress. "We don't want to fight," Kim said. "We want to collaborate, to explore, to push boundaries." Another diagram appeared on the wall. It showed interconnected star systems, shared technologies, mutual growth. The energy drink can seem to smile. Outside the conference room, more energy drinks were being prepared. The humans were just getting started. The Galactic Confederation had no idea what was about to hit them. The silence in the Galactic Confederation's main chamber was deafening. But it was a different kind of silence. Not the silence of defeat. The silence of complete and total surprise. Elder Junho Kim looked at the proposal in front of him. It was not what anyone expected. Instead of banning energy drinks, the Galactic Confederation was going to study them. Not as a threat, but as a potential solution. Major Hyun-ki Kim stood at the center of the room, another energy drink in hand. He had just spent the last 3 hours explaining how these magical beverages could solve some of the galaxy's most complex problems. "Imagine," he said, his words racing faster than light, "using the same innovation that creates energy drinks to solve interstellar challenges." The alien diplomats listened. Actually listened. He showed them how the human approach to energy drinks, constant innovation, pushing boundaries, never accepting impossible, could be applied to space travel, communication networks, and peaceful conflict resolution. Captain Jae-woo Park watched in growing amazement. The humans had turned a potential ban into an opportunity for collaboration. "We're not just selling you a drink," Kim explained. "We're offering a way of thinking. The energy drink hidden in his hand seemed to pulse with an evil, knowing light. Senior researcher Min Seo Park reviewed the data. The numbers were impossible. The potential was ridiculous. And yet, it made perfect sense. Humans had created a drink that could keep people awake for days, boost mental performance, create temporary superhuman capabilities, make complex problem-solving look easy. And they were offering to share this technology, not as a weapon, but as a tool for galactic improvement. We could solve food shortages on resource-poor planets, Kim continued. We could design faster communication systems. We could create new methods of peaceful negotiation. Another diagram appeared. It showed interconnected star systems, shared technologies, mutual growth. The alien diplomats looked at each other. Something was happening. Something big. So, Elder Junho asked, "You want us to study energy drinks?" Kim grinned. "We want you to understand them." Outside the conference room, more energy drinks were being prepared. The humans were just getting started. The final report would later read, "Recommendation: energy drinks are not a threat. They are an opportunity. Approach with caution, and maybe a small cup of caffeine." A confidential note was added to the official diplomatic records. Warning: do not challenge humans to any form of sustained activity, especially when energy drinks are involved. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere, an energy drink was being opened, ready to solve another impossible problem.